This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
This morning, and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Wednesday, the 13th of September 2023, and you're on the clock with Erin, Greene. It's a Wednesday, which means it's an on-the-clock Guardian Radio AM man-down mashup Wednesday, where we combine the show for 2 hours to delve into what's in the news. Before we get started, let's go straight to our on-the-clock Sand Dollar Trivia giveaway for today. The numbers to call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and 242-300-5720 for people in the Bahamas but not on New Providence. Text line powered by BTC, 422-GR96, that's 422-4796. If you're answering by text, I need your digital wallet information in the text to secure your place as a correct answer. The competition is restricted to people who have digital wallets. Also, if you have won the competition before, unfortunately, you are unable to win again for the duration of this particular competition. When you call in, give the producer your name, number, and digital wallet information. If you get the correct answer, you'll be transferred back to the producer to confirm your information. So here is the first question of the day. The Bahamas quincentennial celebrations mark the 500th. The Bahamas quincentennial celebrations marked the 500th anniversary of what event? Bahamas quincentennial celebrations mark the 500th anniversary of what event? Again, the numbers to call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, 242-300-5720, toll free for people in the Bahamas but not in New Providence. And text line 422-GR96, that's 422-4796. Good morning, Mr. Nuri.
Good morning, Erin. How are you doing this morning?
I am good. Thank you.
Yes, good, man. I'm excited about today. I always like when we analyze the news, and in particular segment, we want to analyze something in particular. So I'm a little excited about that.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a little annoyed, but I'm a little excited about it because it needs to be hashed out.
I'm annoyed as well. It definitely needs to be hashed out. And in the words of the leader of the opposition, I'm just trying to find them, from the article published yesterday in the Nassau Tribune, 6 months and still no answers on disclosure. Mr. Pintard says, quite frankly, I wouldn't want to be dishonest about it. I'm not frustrated because I have very little expectation of the government. Mr. Pintard said, quote, they're not given to honoring their commitments to follow up on these matters or comply with the law in general. So this is just par for the course. This is how they function while they're being bullish about others complying with a whole host of other laws in the country as they should, close quote. So Mr. Pintard is not frustrated, nor is he shocked. I am shocked. I manage my expectations in a different way. One side of me expects a lack of compliance, and another side of me I have to hold to expect those who are in positions of power to do what they know they ought to do when they know they ought to do it.
Erin, I think we started off wrongly. And this
Okay.
is why I said we think we started off wrongly. Right now, the system seems broken. In March, the end of March, all parliamentarians, all, what do you call it, the permanent secretaries,
Senior public officers.
sub-public officers should have declared.
Right.
We've been waiting for this from the end of December, then on to end of March, and 6 months later, we are still waiting for the results. The chairman of the disclosure committee said that he has turned over the names of those persons who have yet to declare. Apparently, there are a few people who haven't declared, apparently,
Yeah.
right? He hinted on who didn't declare, right? And he said that it's up to the prime minister, it's up to the leader of the opposition to take the next step.
Stick a
right?
pin before we
Go
go
ahead.
on to the next step. I see we got a caller. Good morning, caller. Are you calling to answer the trivia?
Hello.
Good morning, caller. How are you? Are you calling to answer the trivia?
Yes, I am. The question, what was the quincentennial celebration of the Bahamas? It was the 500th anniversary of Columbus landfall in the Bahamas.
Absolutely, you are correct. It is the
Thank you.
500th anniversary of Columbus seeking refuge in the Bahama Islands after he found himself lost at sea.
Yes, sir.
Thank God for the indigenous people.
Right in Orange Creek, Cat Island.
There you go. You say Orange Creek, Cat Island.
Mix up. That's
That's
San
where he landed.
Salvador.
Cat Island.
San Salvador.
Dear caller, I appreciate your answer. Don't mind Mr. Nuri. He is definitely a historian. But his history...
Good morning, Mr. Nuri.
Good morning. I think you pronounced
Mr.
Watkins
Narrative.
Island wrongly.
You still there?
Caller?
I'm still here. I said, good morning, Mr. Nuri. I'm trying to quietly identify myself. I said, good morning, Mr. Nuri, Clifton Heritage.
There
Oh,
you go.
blessed. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow we have the president of Botswana at Clifton.
Okay.
And Erin, you might like that. We'll have some flour cake, we'll have some Benny cake, and all things Bahamian for him. So you may want to pass down.
Send us a
It starts,
flyer, man. Send us a
at 10
flyer.
o'clock.
Absolutely. I'm bringing Mr. Nuri, my African guide, with me in case they don't think I'm African enough to attend the event. I come in.
I
It'll
do
be a
look after.
wonderful event, and we'll have a great tour conducted by Mr. Christopher Davis. Not sure if you know who that is.
Oh,
course,
yes,
of
sir.
course.
He's one of the leading Pan-African persons in the Bahamas, researcher, author, and all things positive about the history of the Bahamas and our culture and heritage. Very proud of that. Great work he's doing. We just came back from a fact-finding mission to Jamaica. We saw what wonderful work they do over there with regard to their heritage and how they honor their national heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that soon we'll start doing the same thing here in the Bahamas.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So that,
What time tomorrow? What time tomorrow?
Tomorrow we kick off at 10 a.m. If you could, please arrive there about 9:30 or so.
all right.
Because there's a strict protocol and security measures in place. You know, Africa is volatile right now, so
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
there's really enhanced security measures.
We'll tell them, put our names on the list. We'll be there as soon as the show is over.
Look forward to seeing you then, Erin. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Listen,
Special we'll chat tomorrow.
don't go anywhere. The producer's going to take you and confirm your digital wallet information. Thank you.
Okay.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited about what is happening at Clifton. And I'm glad that this particular caller called and let us know what's happening.
Yeah.
If they tell me earlier, I would have him on the show.
Yeah, without a doubt.
He would have highlighted. Definitely. Definitely. I'll
Absolutely.
mention it again tomorrow.
Yeah. So let's
Go ahead.
get back to...
See, my concern is that we're not taking the declaration of persons' income seriously,
Yeah.
right? And it seems as if the prime minister does not care. It seems as if the leader of the opposition does not care. And by extension, it seems as if the Bahamian public does not care. And if the Bahamian public cared, they would have been up in arms over the principle, because at this present time, we have yet to know if any parliamentarian has declared
Right.
their assets.
We
We just don't know.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. And then senior government workers, we have no clue. especially after the chairman indicated that there are a few who did not declare at all.
Of the senators and public officers whose declarations were examined and sent to the Prime Minister's office, he says, and let me read. In fact, Ms. Nuri, let me reference the 3 articles that we are referencing this morning. The first one is 6 months and still no answers on disclosures. That was in yesterday's Tribune. Then, Pintard still waiting on list on disclosures. That's the Tribune, but that's from the 20th of July. So that's July, August, September, right? That's 2 months later. And then I got an article from the Nassau Guardian, the 4th of May, 2022, last year. Was it 23? It is Candia Dames, Disclosure and Transparency, right? And so it's a great read to get a sense of what the Act requires, the Public Disclosure Act requires, how the Public Disclosure Commission operates, right? And so we're going to reference those 3. In that first article, 6 months and still no answers on disclosures from yesterday, we have a quote from Mr. Pintard. He says, "I only got the list for the senators who did not disclose, but not the members of parliament," Mr. Pintard told the Tribune yesterday. I got a couple more quotes. Quote from Pintard, still waiting on list on disclosures from July. It says, Bishop Cooper told the Tribune last week, remember this is July, Bishop Cooper told the Tribune last week that many senators and senior civil servants failed to follow the law. He said he sent a letter to the Prime Minister and Mr. Pintard with the names of those who failed to comply.
Let me put a pin there
Yeah.
and hash out what does that mean. Who names did he send?
It appears as if from those 2 quotes, from those 2 articles, that only senators and senior public officers.
No mention of MPs?
No. Cooper doesn't mention sending a list of MPs to the Prime Minister. Only senators and public officers.
And nobody noticed that he didn't mention a member of the parliament at all?
Even I didn't notice it until I picked up yesterday's paper and started reading back in the archives, right? In fact,
So there's only 2 cases. Either all of the members of parliament has already declared, or none of them have declared.
well,
Well, none is a strong word, of course. When I mean none, that he didn't acknowledge that.
now, Pintard references that he knows that all the FNM people, members of the House of Assembly, senators and members of parliament,
So Pintas sure about that.
he said he's sure they comply. His people complied.
Yes.
But the question is there a list, right? Was a list compiled? Were declarations sent? We don't even know if declarations from PLP MPs were sent in. So what we question now is there a list
It got to be a
of
list.
PLP declarations, right? Is it that no PLP MPs declared? Or is it that some declared, some didn't, but the list itself has not been prepared, is not ready to send to the relevant members of the Public Disclosure Commission?
Is it wrong for me if I call for the chairman of this this actual what did the committee call anyway?
It's the Public Disclosure Commission.
Commission. So he's a commissioner, right?
Yeah.
Is it wrong for me to ask for him to resign because he seemed incompetent?
Not on this half of the hour. This is the we gonna ask you to resign if we have to hour.
Oh, so
I don't have a problem with you doing it.
the chairman
on
need
this
to get
hour.
resigned. He need to resign because he seemed incompetent. He seemed incompetent, and I am not satisfied with what he is doing at this present time, post 6 months after March, that we have no clue who has declared as yet.
And if we look at the Public Disclosure Act, right? Section 7 of the first part, the title is Further Inquiry into Declarations. The Act gives the Commission the power to extend the period, right, for declarations. That's the first thing. So they could extend it up to, you missed the deadline, they could extend it up to 30 days, right? Mm-hmm. So is it that an extension was required for some MPs? Because, sometimes they...
No, I'm cool with that.
Sometimes they like to say, well, we're not going to submit the list until we have all of the names, right, sorted out.
Then say that. Then say that and allow the public to digest that and respond.
Right.
The idea that we say that there are one or two members of parliament who are not sure how to construct their lists, and 6 months later we still have no clue what is happening, is something wrong with that. Something is wrong with that, and the people should be up in arms.
And let's go. Right.
And the idea that the Prime Minister has yet to comment on it, to say, well, yes, I did receive a list. We went over the list and we find that everything is good and moving forward, means that the Prime Minister is incompetent, and we need to challenge the Prime Minister.
Listen, everybody involved needs to sit down and answer questions. See, let's go all the way back to the snap election, right? So there was a snap election, but all candidates, or once you won, you were required to submit a declaration, right? So once you won, you're required to submit a declaration. So everybody in the HOA, in the House of Assembly, at the beginning of their this part of their political career, had to make a declaration, right? So when we come to the first period after the election, where a declaration is required, we get a statement from the commissioner suggesting that a number of the people required to declare were not aware that they were required to declare. And I guess they thought that that was a good excuse. That's all it is. So, yeah, but we've become aware that some of the members didn't realize that they had to declare, right? So we got that in the first year, even though they had to declare for the job, to get it, right? To finalize the seal of approval on the job, you got to declare. Mm-hmm. So after that first period, by the time we hit 2022, they're supposed to know.
What are you doing by now?
Right. The next period, what we get from the commissioner was, some MPs, some people, members of the House of Assembly, say it's so difficult, the process of making a declaration. It's arduous and strenuous and overwhelming, and it's very difficult. Now, mind you, this is what the commissioner said that they told him. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that any MP...
The commissioner incompetent. What's the commissioner's full name? What's his full name? What's his full name? So I can say it out loud.
Bishop...
I gotta call Dwight first before I say this. But anyway, what is his name? What is Bishop what?
The public...
You need to go back and stay in the church. You need to stay in the church.
Commission Chairman Bishop Victor Cooper.
Yes. Mr. Victor Cooper, Bishop, I find you incompetent. You need to resign so we can get someone who's competent to run this thing.
Now,
it's clearly you incompetent.
Let me put something on the table, right?
Besides the incompetent bishop?
Yeah, I want to... Yeah. Because maybe he's not incompetent.
You think the bishop is not incompetent?
I'm just saying maybe he's not.
I think the Bishop Cooper is incompetent.
I think there's space that we should interrogate
it, and then I'll conclude that the bishop is incompetent. But then you do the interrogation.
Because I start by saying, here's why I think you should be fired, until I reach the point where I say you should be fired.
No, he should be fired. He should be fired. I thought he should be fired before, but now I'm certain. 2 years later, I'm certain now.
I feel I just didn't expect you to be on the same train as me, so I jump on the next train.
I feel uneasy with that, but I'm ashamed now. I'm ashamed as a Bahamian that we can't even do this right. Something is wrong. Something is clearly wrong. This is easy.
Okay.
You just declare.
Absolutely. So let's go back to the Public Disclosures Act. We're looking at the first schedule, Section 3, Part 1, the Commission. Section 1, the Commission shall consist of 3 members appointed by the Governor General upon the recommendation of the Prime Minister after consultation with the Leader of the Opposition. Provided that in any case where a declaration under this Act is required to be made by a member of the Commission shall consist of the Prime Minister, the Leader of the Opposition, and a member of the Commission other than the member making the declaration appointed by the Governor General. Now, that's very, very wordy. And I will offer that we may need help interpreting that correctly. But if a declaration is required, so I think that means if it is found that some people didn't declare, right? So if you have to produce a report with a list of people who didn't declare, then the governor, the prime minister, the leader of the opposition, the member who's making the declaration, and another member will compose the commission. In Section 15, Procedure and Meetings, Section 1, the commission shall meet at such times as may be expedient for the carrying out of its functions, and such meetings shall be held on such days and all such places as the chairman may determine. Subsection 2, a quorum of the commission shall be 2. A quorum of the commission shall be 2. Subsection 3, the decision of the commission shall be by a majority of votes, and in addition to an original vote, the chairman shall have a casting vote in any case in which the voting is equal. So a quorum, you only need 2 people to have a meeting, and I guess if you only have 2 people and you have a tie, then the chairman gets the 3rd vote to break the tie.
The government-appointed chairman,
Yeah.
whose job depends on the government.
Right. And so the question I want to lay out in defense of the commissioner before I join you in the call for him to resign.
I hope you don't be accusing my prime minister now.
No.
Okay.
I just want to ask a question.
Go ahead. I don't like where you headed towards it because you sound like you're going to be accusing my prime minister.
You speculating while I speculating? The two of us can't be speculating at the same time.
Be speculative.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the question I have is there anything within the Public Disclosure Act that it enables the Prime Minister to bypass the Commissioner and the Leader of the Opposition? That's it. I just want to throw that on the table in the Commissioner's defense. Is there anything within the Act itself that enables the Prime Minister as a member of the Commission or not, right, outside of his membership in the composition of the Commission, that enables the Prime Minister to bypass the Chairman or the Leader of the Opposition? I'm only offering this question in defense of the Commissioner.
I'll ask this to you.
Yeah.
Does the report needs to be gazetted anywhere?
Yes.
So you're trying to say 6 months in, we have no report to gazette, and no one in the Bahamas up in arms saying, man, what happened into our parliament?
If we look at Public Disclosure Act sections 6 in the first part, examination of declarations and publication of summary of disclosure. Subsection 1. The Commission shall examine every declaration furnished to it and may request from a senator or member of parliament any information or explanation relevant to a declaration made by him, which, in its opinion, would assist in its examination. 2. Whereupon an examination under subsection 1, the Commission is satisfied that a declaration has been fully made, it shall publish a summary of that declaration in the Gazette in the form prescribed by Form B in the second schedule. Subsection 3, where the Commission publishes a summary of a declaration under subsection 2, any person may make a written complaint to the Commission in relation to that summary. So yes, there is a requirement of publication of information. It is a summary of the declaration of what is disclosed, and there's a form for it set out. You know, there's a form for declaration set out in the Act, and they have instructions what goes into the summary.
But Erin, you're not personally not concerned that the Prime Minister has yet to address this, to say, hey,
You tell me don't lay any accusations on my Prime Minister.
I still believe it's a German, right? I'm just concerned that the Prime Minister has yet to deal with Bishop Cooper's name again?
Bishop
Mr. Victor, he hasn't fired Victor Cooper yet.
This is why I referenced this article by Candia Dames, 4th of May. I just got to check the date, 2022 or 2023, right? But it's Disclosure and Transparency. I think it's a national review. The Public Disclosure Act is important in the fight against corruption. It's a great article to read, right? The Act provides for the Public Disclosure Commission to examine every declaration furnished to it by MPs, senators, and senior public officials and public appointees. It also requires that the Commission gazette reports so members of the public are able to see who declared and who did not.
Wait, who they supposed to be for? What the last sentence said?
It also requires that the Commission Gazette report, so members of the public.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you and me.
Okay.
Are able to see who declared and who did not.
They let me see it.
Remember,
I have no clue. I still waiting.
this article is great, man. Over many years, the Public Disclosure Commission has failed to meet this legal requirement to publish reports.
It's a legal requirement too?
It's a legal requirement.
can talk some things here.
The most recently gazetted report is from December 2011, and it contained information on disclosures only up to 2008. It's 2023.
So from 208
Yeah.
to now, we had nothing gazetted?
That's 15 years, eh?
I got to add with my fingers.
Yeah.
But from 208 to now,
To 2023.
we have nothing gazetted. And the Bahamian people are not up
Now
in arms?
listen, the information was actually gazetted in 2011, but only contains information up to
yeah,
2008. I think that nuance needs to be
Still 208.
emphasis.
It's still 28.
You know, but
20,
emphasis.
2008. It's still 2008 was the last time. Even though it's 2011, they put it through. But the record is based on 2008. And it's now 2023. And no one is up in arms. It tells a tale about us as a people.
Yeah.
This is as good as it gets. Now I'm seeing what the problem is. It's not necessarily the Prime Minister or perhaps Bishop Cooper. It's us. We lousy as a people. We're just lousy. And we comfortable. Being lousy.
I want to rephrase it. I want to say it.
You try to escape this blame.
No, I want to say it in a different way.
You're trying to escape this blame.
No, not at all. I'm not trying to escape.
You're just
it at all.
lousy.
No,
You're
it's
just
not
loud as
that.
apple.
Because I could definitely be lousy. I'm a human.
Okay.
That's not. I would say that a D average is not as satisfactory. A D grade is not satisfactory. Even if it's not a D average, telling students that a D is satisfactory is not satisfactory. And I argue that if we had stopped telling people that a D is satisfactory long time ago, we may not be in this position today.
2008
I ain't saying I ain't lousy.
was the last gazetted.
Because let me tell you what I mean, see.
2008.
I was an underperforming student in school. By the time I left QC, if I was a C plus, like on the actual grade on the paper, if I was a C plus student, I happy.
He was a strong C plus.
But that's right. I was underachieving. You see what I'm saying? And so when I say that a D is not satisfactory, I'm talking from my own personal experience, right? I'm not putting something on other people I wouldn't put on myself. Anyway, this is
have a caller.
Good morning, caller. You on the clock?
Yes, good morning, Erin, and good morning, CA.
Good morning, sir.
CA, I can cover you. It is us. It is us.
It gotta be us, eh?
It has to be. It has to be. I don't know. I guess if we were like other countries who would go and break up the place or go march and go think, if we wasn't so passive, I guess, we're just so laid back, and so we just say, well, that's just the government, man. I had a conversation with somebody who works as a financial officer in one of the departments, and she said she just came out of a meeting, and because she was just following what the policies that the government wrote, right? She said, I am going by the policies. And because she was doing that, she was being ostracized. And the government is the greatest perpetrator of breaking its own laws, its own policies that it enacted in order to ensure good governance. The Organization for Responsible Government, which I think was set up by an independent organization to try to help keep the government feet to the fire. And they have asked the government for a number of things, and the government hasn't complied as yet. We haven't been able to get the Freedom of Information Act, the Procurement Act that was passed by the former government. This government repealed it. They put in another one. And what the man said the last time, this government corporation, they didn't do it right, and you're supposed to get it by the first week in October. You would have all of these contracts. See, if the first week in October, which is another 2 weeks, if that information is not supplied, what should we do? Should we fire these people? In other countries, when something go wrong and those people, they are fired. they are fired. And, like us, we just, once our bread is buttered, once we can do it, they don't care what the government do. Like Alfred Gray said, once they been working, they ain't checking what kind of government they got. Once they can eat
Alfred
and pay
Gray's
the
a
bill
prophet.
and go to Miami and show up.
You know how to make a profit.
The government could do whatever they want to.
Sorry, sir. I didn't mean to interject.
I don't know what we can do. I don't know what we can do. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you very much,
what we're
Colin.
going to do is we're going to start the shift, right? And we take small steps.
We starting the shift?
No, I mean, I don't have to go to work. I had work. I done start my shift at 10. You can start your shift soon.
Uh-huh.
But the point is that all is not lost.
What? This is as good as it gets. This is as good
I
as it
agree
gets.
with you. If we round the place telling people that the D is satisfactory, I agree with you. This is as good as it will ever be.
I'm not
just as good,
sure
this is as
if
good as it
you
will
are
ever be.
appreciating that the last gazetted of the public disclosure was 2011 based on 2008.
Up to 2008, yeah. So it's not just a 2008 declaration. It was a whole bunch of information that had not been declared in years prior to
We have no
2008.
clue. We have no clue.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you understand that as yet we cannot confirm that the chairman Cooper, say calling his name again.
Yeah.
What's his first name again?
Mr. Bishop
Bishop what?
Victor Cooper.
Bishop
Not
Victor
to be
Cooper.
confused with the Minister of Tourism Investment.
That's
and
why I got to call his full name.
Cooper.
That Bishop Victor Cooper. We do not know if Bishop Victor Cooper has presented a report on members of parliament. We just don't know. We have no clue,
What's
cannot
happening?
confirm, cannot say, yes, we know for sure that a report was generated for members of parliament. We just don't know.
Yeah.
We just don't
And
know.
then there's okay. I want to go to a second trivia question, right? Before we go there, I want to throw this on the table. And I am still not certain. Maybe others out there know, but I'm not certain whether if a report had been produced, but it had not been given to the Prime Minister before the proroguing of the House.
You're trying to say
Whether
someone
they-
hiding information from the Prime Minister?
No, I didn't say that. I just,
What you trying to say?
I'm just saying if all reports are dismissed with the proroguing of the House, does the public disclosure report also follow that same protocol? Is it that portion was not submitted in time, and so they're now trying to determine whether they are required to create a new report, or if they could just resubmit the old report? See, I think before I call for anybody to get fired, right?
Bishop Cooper needed to get fired.
I think, I just saying that maybe the problem is bigger than all of the people in the government, right? What if the problem is that the government cannot move at the pace of the business that it's managing? Like, what if the government doesn't understand that it, as an entity, needs to pick up the pace, right? You got the story in today's Guardian. I think it's the Guardian business section. Maybe it's the Tribune. Arawak X to fight solvency shutdown bid all the way. And here's a quote, right? Darcy Ramming, senior Arawak X's chairman and chief executive, told Tribune Business the capital markets regulator has, quote, shut down our ability to function, close quotes, through what he branded a, quote, slow walking, close quotes, and, open quotes, never ending, close quotes, 11-month probe into the crowdfunding platform's operations and business. See, the government is the government. They like your parents. They can move at whatever pace they want. And they'll say any manner of foolishness to justify it to you. But but that's when I say you, I mean me and you ordinary people. But governments can't talk to businesses the same way that they talk to people, right? Mm-hmm. Businesses move at the pace of the global economy, or they're supposed to. And so what if the real problem is that nobody in government has realized that they have to move fast enough to meet their own timelines, deadlines, and legal requirements, right? What if that's the issue, that nobody has kicked it into gear, and everybody in the government sitting back expecting the world and our lives to pause whenever they pause?
Let's talk with pause, because you still didn't read the next question, right?
Yeah, you're right.
If the host is closed, dismissed, on break at this present time,
Yeah.
Can the Prime Minister address this issue, or he will have to wait until the House convenes again?
Right. Or does the commission have to be recomposed? even? Right? I'm just throwing the question out there. It's broad, it's on the side. But what if there's a pause because the commission has to be recomposed because of proroguing of the House?
No, man. The sitting commissioner.
That's,
But he should have sent in the report already. If he hasn't sent in the report, he needs to get fired.
all right, let's stick a pin. Let me throw out the second question of the day for the On the Clock Sand Dollar Trivia giveaway. What is the name of the Anglican Cathedral on George Street, Nassau, New Providence? That's how it go. George Street, Nassau, New Providence. What is the name of the Anglican Cathedral on George Street, Nassau, New Providence? Numbers to call 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and 242-300-5720. Text line powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796.
You know what's the oldest church edifice in the Bahamas?
The oldest
Church edifice.
edifice, which is
edifice.
different from church itself.
Yeah.
I did this trivia question a minute ago, you know.
Yeah. That's a good question.
I think is it on Cat Island? One on Family Island?
It's on one of the family islands. It's on
Yeah.
Cat Island, though.
Why you say it like that?
I mean, you're supposed to know this.
I think I do know it.
Yeah. It wasn't Cat Island. That's you getting mixed up like San Salvador and Cat Island.
I got Public Disclosure Act in my head right now.
Yeah.
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 We're going to a break, guys.
We're going to a
Remember,
break.
the question to answer when we get back from the break, what is the name of the Anglican Cathedral on George Street, Nassau, New Providence?
Is that the only cathedral?
It's the only Anglican cathedral.
There you go. We'll be right back.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. Buy your local paper at Freeport convenience stores, Western Bakery, DeGregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Want to reach your Grand Bahama customers? Then call Barefoot Marketing at 827-4578 or message them for ad rates via their Facebook page. Advertising opportunities now include classified ads too. Keep up with all the latest Grand Bahama news in the Nassau Guardian newspaper every Tuesday.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Created Events and Marketing presents Becoming, a transformative women's empowerment summit that will take place on September 24 at the National Training Agency located on Gladstone Road at 3 p.m. Phenomenal speakers include DeQuesta Dean, Simone Bowe, Shirley Pinder, Marissa Mason-Smith, and Dr. Nyambi Campbell-Dean. Not to mention a flaunted fashion show segment hosted by Miss Phyllis Garraway. Tickets are $50 and can be purchased at the Nassau Guardian or Essence Med Spa, number 15 Bradley Street, Palmdale. Part proceeds will be donated to the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Good morning. Welcome back to the On the Clock Guardian Radio AM Mashup Man Down Wednesday session. We are looking at the Public Disclosure Act, and we are asking how is it that it is September the 13th, 2023, and we have still not seen the gazetting of the Public Disclosure Report or the summary declarations from those that declared. Mr. Nuri has he's usurped my role as the firer, and today he demands the resignation of the commissioner of the Public Disclosure Commission,
You didn't call his name out, though.
Bishop Victor Cooper.
We got to keep on saying it out loud. The power of the tongue. He needs to be fired. The power of the tongue. Find someone competent to take the job. Someone who we know could generate a report on a timely basis.
See, now I want to throw another thing out in the defense of the commission. I don't know what happened
keep
to
on
me.
trying to defend
I
him,
don't
man.
know what happened to me, man. Mr.
You just want to
Nuri.
blame my prime minister.
I
But
don't
my prime
know.
minister have nothing to do with this. It's the chairman. It's Bishop. Bishop need to go preach. Just stay in the church one time. Personally, I don't believe Christian people are supposed to be in parliament. That's it. Let me start off from there. I don't believe Christian people supposed to be in the halls of Parliament doing government jobs. Let us do that. Because clearly, they ain't know what they doing.
Okay.
It's a clear indication. Bishop can't do this. This bishop just can't do this.
In his defense, right, maybe that he has incorrectly interpreted his duties and obligations as commissioner under the Act, particularly after reading Section 10, duty as to secrecy and to make a declaration. Maybe he is bound, Mr. Nuri, by the secrecy provisions in the Act itself and feels that to say or do anything to reveal the lack of movement, right, or his inability to do his job may intentionally or unintentionally reveal information that is protected by the secrecy provisions in the Act. So I just want to throw that on the table, Mr. Nuri. But surely someone in the AG's office would have said, hey, you know what I haven't seen in a long time? I haven't seen a Gazette of Public Disclosure, right? I haven't seen any of these things. And maybe they would do a legal inquiry and to determine what is the holdup. I just throwing it out there. I don't know how these by them operate.
I just don't know. I just conclude this is as good as it gets. This is the best we could be managed right here.
As long as we telling people that the D is satisfactory.
But the D is satisfactory. It's in the
not.
middle.
I mean, if this is the condition that you are attempting to create.
We content with the bishop. That's why the bishop is able to do what he's doing now. I have no clue.
Who is content with it? See, somebody content with it. It ain't me.
I have no clue whether the members of Parliament have declared as yet. No clue.
No, right. We don't know. We don't know if there's no list because nobody is declared, or at least no PLP MPs have declared because Mr. Pinter aren't.
Only one leader has addressed this and confirmed that from their vantage point, their members have declared. The PLP has yet to say, yes, from our vantage point,
Right.
we too have declared. We just don't know.
And see, here's what happens.
6 months after the deadline.
People will speculate in the absence of information.
I won't speculate.
And
Someone hiding stuff.
perhaps we need to remind the public. I'm not a politician, so I can't remind them of nothing, right? But maybe we need to remind the public that the Public Disclosure Act and the commission that it creates is a mechanism, right? Is a mechanism. And when that mechanism doesn't work properly, people will speculate.
What's the purpose, objective of the Public Disclosure Act in general anyway? What's the reason for it?
Well, the declaration is made so that an assessment could be made of whether there is untoward activity or malfeasance taking place, right? Like, is this increase in wealth verifiable, right? Was this wealth you attained during this period? How did you attain it?
You hurt my head. Because now I'm concerned because we have had several members of Parliament who aren't members of Parliament right now who declared that their income was about 60,000, but now mega millionaires, and they only had MPs and cabinet jobs.
And some of them only been in there for 5 years.
Yeah, something wrong. But anyway, it is what it is.
So I'm saying
all of this is contrived. I think all of this is contrived.
What do you mean when you say that?
When you see that have been no gazetting from 2008, I think there's a reason for that, and we need to get behind. If we do the numbers, we will see the reason on why it hasn't been declared from 2008.
Let's stick a pin. Let's go to this caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the clock.
Hey, morning, Erin.
Good morning. You calling to answer the trivia question?
No.
Okay, no problem. Go on.
Okay, with this declaration, what we talking about, right? You know, before election, and they say the deadline to declare is like two months or so.
Yeah.
Everybody got in their things. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, the law say you're supposed to declare a certain time, and then it become a problem. You know, and like you're saying, we allow them to get away with it. Now, I always say this: the chairman should be somebody with some authority, like an ex-judge or a former assistant commissioner of police. I think that will go a long way. Instead, you're putting somebody who's a Bible man or who's a pastor or whatever, or select one of the coonies. That ain't gonna work. And another thing too, I would publish the name of those people who put the names in who ain't put.
Mm-hmm.
That could be done. You don't give a deadline. You ain't come up then. I could put the name in who we put, and then the church they could deal with it.
Yeah. It's so easy. We don't understand why it's not being done.
Yeah, all it is, I give you tell so who we put. I put them in the papers.
I mean, and it's like we already know they're not interested in finding them and locking them up.
Yeah, you ain't got to wait till everybody put, man. Like I say, they have a deadline before election. They put, but then.
Do you think the unwillingness to publish, to gazette, is in an attempt to protect members of parliament from the fine or the prison time, but B, to protect the House of Parliament and to protect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the external gaze, when foreign investors look into the country, they need to see political stability, to have confidence to invest their money, right?
You.
Is the unwillingness to properly gazette this information an attempt to protect the politician A, but the political system B?
Yeah, you see, that's the law, but
you got to follow
they
the
do
law.
what they want to do. Again, just like immigration, they do what they want to do.
Thank you.
Put who they want to put.
Thank you, caller.
But like I say again, they need to put a chairman there, because I think they more will respect an ex-judge or a former assistant commissioner of police.
Absolutely, I appreciate the point. You're right. I think we should try that. Thank you very much.
That's the best way to do that.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Erin.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. Morning, Mr. Neary.
It's always a pleasure to hear your voice.
We marching down Monday, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes.
Listen, Erin.
Yes.
Like I said before, I feel like what they are doing is because they take persons who are loyal to them. I think it's a party thing. It's to protect the party name more than anything else. Because if you know that, let's just say the majority of them is from one party other than the other, so people would look down on that party as being secretive for one, and I guess, whatever they're doing now, whatever dirt they're doing, you're going to never know. So by the time they do put out something, then you could say, well, how you know they never always had it?
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
I feel you.
So I think it's to protect the party faith more so than the country.
I got you. Thank you very much. Thank you much. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How you all doing?
Good, thank you. You calling to answer the trivia?
No, I already answered. Once you answer before, you can't do no more.
And look here, you still a winner. Thank you.
Okay. Listen, I hope Mr. Sweden, the new minister, who in charge of the Ministry of Works, who got a new portfolio, take 2 days, 3 days out of the week, let him drive around New Providence and see the road for himself.
Yep.
And I think that will work. And I think he will be able to do it. Get on the road. There's a hole on Coral Harbor Road heading towards the airport right after you pass that plaza, about 150 feet. That crate is so big. But Erin, you know what they can wait for until a tourist drop in one of those holes on a motorbike, get killed or get injured. Then they can run to fix these holes because the road is deplorable. So that's what he needs to do. The post office yard on Table Beach, there's 3 to 4 craters for months, and you have government officials and everything, and nobody would fix those holes. If you go in there, if you don't have a truck or something to go in there, you will damage everything under your car. I mean, right in the post office yard.
Yes,
and
sir.
nobody's like, say, hey, I know policemen is going there. Not only that, policemen will be driving the road. I know that's not your portfolio, but If they see the holes, they know it can cause an accident. Why don't they just say, hey, these holes need to be fixed? It's around the corner. It's 2 and 3. You can't duck it. If you do duck, you can hit into somebody's car.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need to do. And then with this disclosure, until someone get locked up, because the law is the law. That's why I tell the people here, you obey the law, because when the officials break it, ain't nothing to happen to them, but you would go to jail.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Very much makes me think of the young man that got struck about the body with a billy by an officer. Let's go to the next caller quickly. Good morning, caller. You calling to answer the trivia? What is the name of the Anglican?
No, Miss Greene.
Okay.
I didn't hear the trivia, and I don't have a digital wallet.
Don't watch nothing.
And I don't want any, but to the last caller, the scary cat who seems to always talk about jail, right? Remember Jesus and Paul went to jail. It's not the end of life, you know. It's just. But Erin, how dare you question Master them, man?
That's what I was doing.
How dare you question Master them?
No, man, we was speculating. We wasn't questioning.
Erin, it's only for the picky-head Negro that lives over the hill that have to give an account for any amount, right? Even if it's an insignificant amount, because he doesn't supposed to have anything. But the rhetoric is too much for me. I'll bypass all of this, right? Just to show the Beeman people what Martha thinks of them and how much he loves them, right? I'm trying to figure out, why is the multi-trillion-dollar construction site at the A&E hasn't been completed yet? Because it has to be over $1 trillion, because it's pathetic, okay? So wake up, Behemans. They're preying on your schisms and your ignorance that they have created. They don't care about you. The hardest thing for us to do, despite all the rhetoric between the beginning and the end of time, is to unite. Give thanks.
Absolutely. 52, I say the strongest tool in the revolutionaries' toolkit is empathy. That's where we start. We just need 5% more from everybody. That's it. Empathy. You don't have to pick up arms. 5% more empathy. We could change the whole Bahamas. I got one. Great show as usual. We need to use our roads as a tourist attraction. Also, the flooding in Pinewood should be a tourist attraction. Dear tour drivers, I don't understand. Y'all got them big wheel Jeep. It's exactly what I would be doing. I agree with Erin. Making a D average satisfactory is not acceptable. The Ministry of Education in Singapore would never accept such a mediocre standard, and it is our students that have to compete against such people internationally. Mr. Nuri, thank you very much for this side of the discussion. When we get on the other side, we're going to continue with this, and we got more to talk about, eh?
We have more to talk about.
You're on the clock. It's the On the Clock Guardian Radio AM Man Down Mashup Wednesday session. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.